the end of class, because we're going to now bring our mind to our practice. Welcome, Vodafone. Welcome. Day one of Mental Health Awareness Week. I will be here at 12 noon every day this week for a half-hour practice. We will focus on breathing, some simple postures, and some meditation, all with the aim of helping our minds in our troubled times. According to the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the purpose of yoga is chitta vritti nirodha, which means ceasing of the restless fluctuations of the mind. So we use yoga, both the breathing, the meditation, and the asanas, the postures, to help us bring our mind into a calm and focused place. Welcome, Vodafone. Welcome to my regular yogis who I haven't seen for some time. And if you're new to yoga, welcome to you too. We're going to begin with some breathing. So bring your attention to your breath. Close your eyes. Traditionally, in yoga, we focus on the tip of the nose, but most people will find it easier to close their eyes. By closing your eyes, you bring your attention to a calm space. Hopefully, the space you're in is quiet. If it's not, you can nonetheless attempt to quieten the mind. So bring your attention to your breath. In yoga, we use the breath to calm the mind. The breath acts as a bridge between the mind and body. So by focusing our restless mind on that slow rhythm of our breath, we are engaging with that physical process of breathing and becoming physically present to ourselves. As you inhale, be aware of the breath. Breathe in through the nostrils. Watch the breath come into the mouth, into the throat, into the upper rib cage, expanding the lower rib cage, pressing down the diaphragm so that the abdominal contents move out of the way and the belly domes. As you exhale, the belly draws back in again, the breath starts to rise back up, and you exhale. Keep going with your deep breathing. Inhaling prana, life force, the upward spreading breath, and exhaling apana, the descending breath. Next time you inhale, count how long your inhalation takes. And as you exhale, add another beat. This is a very simple way of checking that your exhalation is at least as long as your inhalation. Slow exhalations through the agency of the vagus nerve help to slow the heart rate. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system and engages the body in its rest and restore mode. Takes you away from fight and flight, the stress response. Unfortunately, our stress response, which is designed for emergencies and to get us out of trouble, we can get stuck in it. We can get stuck in it for hours or even days. And when that happens, it's detrimental to our health. By breathing deeply, the body goes into rest and restore, carries out its background functions, minor repairs, fighting infection, cleansing, digesting, all that stuff which it can't do in an emergency. So breathe deeply to give your body the very best chance. Take 2 more deep breaths here. And after your second exhalation, slowly flutter open the eyelids. Sit as tall as you can, drawing your crown up and away from your tailbone so that your spine is lengthened as much as you're able. Roll the shoulders up, back and down in both directions. So change directions after 2 rolls. And then release your shoulders. Float your hands up to shoulder level. If your shoulders are fine, you can take your arms up to full height. Inhale here, open the chest, and as you exhale, start to fold forward, hinging at the hips. Bring your fingertips to the floor and exhale. Inhale again, lengthening out the front body, drawing your crown away from your tailbone, keeping your hips on the floor. Exhale, bending into the hip crease. You may be able to bring your forearms to the floor. You may want to stay up on your fingertips. You may find a block is helpful here to lean your elbows onto. Every time you inhale, lengthen the front body and exhale as you fold. Do that once more. Inhale again, press into your fingertips, walk back up to a seated position, take your arms up overhead, and as you exhale, we twist to the right. Take your right hand behind, take your left hand across the body. Looking over your right shoulder if that's comfortable. With each inhalation, we lengthen the spine. With each exhalation, we twist slightly deeper. Only go as far as is comfortable for you. Don't overdo it. Release that back shoulder so that you're not hunching here. One more breath. Inhale, release the twist. Exhale to the center. Change the cross of your feet if you're cross-legged. We'll take one more forward fold. Inhaling here and exhaling as you come forward. Same thing applies. Each inhalation, you lengthen the front body, and as you exhale, you fold down. So we're really going to focus on opening the hips today. If you spend a lot of time seated, which many of us do, your hips can get quite tight. We're just going to work on opening up the hips here. Inhale, come onto your fingertips, take the arms up and overhead, and exhale, twist to your left. Taking the left hand behind, right hand comes across the body. Try and get the shoulders level and the chest open as you use your exhalation to deepen that twist. Only what is comfortable for you. Try not to lean on that back hand and collapse. Press into the fingertips to give you more lift here. One more breath. Inhale to center, exhale to the center. We're going to come to a standing position. So come up any way that's comfortable for you. Have your feet hip distance apart and stand at the front of your mat. Have about a fist width between your feet. Engage your quadriceps, tuck your tailbone under, draw your belly button to your spine, wrap your shoulders back and down, stand up tall. Pick your toes up off the floor, spread them down to get you a good purchase on the floor. Bring your hands to your hips, soften at the knees, and take your right leg back, take a wide stride here, and turn your toes so they face the front corner of your mat, ready for Parsvottanasana. Straighten both legs. Make sure that your hip heads are level here. So you'll naturally want to open. So you want to bring that right hip forward, take your left hip back so that you're level here. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Take the arms out to the sides. You can fold your arms behind you, or you might be able to bring your hands into reverse prayer, taking the fingertips up towards the nape of the neck and opening across the shoulders if that's comfortable to you. Inhale, open here. Exhale, come forward with a flat back. So this is quite strong in the hamstrings of the front leg. Keep that front big toe mound nicely anchored and your back heel nicely anchored. Watch that your shoulders aren't dipping to one side. Keep working that right shoulder down as you bring that right hip forward to get your back as straight as you can. Breathe deeply. Take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, release the hands and float the fingertips down to the floor. They may reach easily. You may need a couple of blocks. If you can't reach at all, keep your hands here or bring them to your shin. Take one more breath here. Inhale, and as you exhale, fold forward so your forehead comes down towards your shin, if that's possible for you. Inhale, press into the fingertips, come into a flat back. Again, bend your front knee, lift your right heel, and edge that right heel back so you come into a lunge. So now you're light on your fingertips, you're using the power of your back leg, press through your back heel, keeping your hips level so that you're not slumping or collapsing into that hip joint. You're using your back leg to anchor you here. If it's too strong, drop the back knee. Otherwise, try and hold this lunge if you can. Now press both hands into the floor, release the front foot, take your front foot back and come into plank. So if you're an experienced yogi, you know all about plank. If that's too tough, come to your knees. If you're not liking it at all, sit your bottom back on your heels and stretch out. This is Balasana or child's pose. You can come into this pose at any time for a rest. Otherwise, we're in 3/4 plank or we're in full plank. If you're in full plank, you've been here for a few breaths now. Spin your inner elbows forward, press back through your heels to give you extra strength in this position. From here, we're all going to come to 3/4 plank. Drop your knees, untuck your toes. Bring your chest and your chin down towards the floor, keeping your bottom high. This is Ashtangasana or 8-point pose. We inhale here. We send the chest forward, wrap the shoulders back and down, press through the hands to lift your chest. Some of you might come quite high. If you're a beginner, stay low, tuck the chin in, tuck the elbows in too. Cobra pose. Now we're going to tuck the toes, press into the hands, send the bottom right back. You can come into child's pose here if you want to, or come halfway back and then press your chest towards your thighs and start to lift your bottom high to the ceiling. This is downward facing dog. You press your heels to the floor, your chest to your thighs, relax your head and neck. Press out, press into the fingertips so that you're not weighing into your wrists. And take some deep breaths. Make sure you're not holding the breath. Exhale deeply. And then on an inhalation, walk your feet forward towards your hands. Uttanasana, forward fold. If you can keep your hands on the floor, that's great. Otherwise, use your block or bring your hands to your shin or fold your arms. But leave your head loose, hanging towards the floor. Inhale and exhale deeply. Now bend the knees deeply, take the arms up and over, bring your palms together above your head and exhale to your heart center. We inhale again, bend the knees deeply, take the arms up and over, exhale, take the hands down, bring your hands forward and send your bottom back. So we're in a squat here. Inhale up, palms together, exhale, squat. We're going to do 2 more of these. You can make that squat quite deep if you're strong. If you're not liking it, make it very gentle. Doesn't have to be big to work. Inhale, open. Exhale, come down. Inhale. Exhale. Now inhale, come back up to standing. Take the left foot back. We're going to do that sequence again on the left. So Parsvottanasana. Remember, the back hip wants to come around. The back toes are facing out at a 45-degree angle. The front hip wants to pull back here. Hands come out. We fold, or we bring them into prayer. We inhale here. Exhale, come forward with a flat back, pressing into your big toe mound on the front foot, the blade of your back foot. Keep lengthening your crown away from your tailbone. Try and keep your shoulders level and your hips level. Big stretch for the hamstrings of that front leg. One more breath here. Release the hands to the floor or to blocks. And see if you can fold your crown down towards the floor. Do what you can. One more deep breath here. Lift up into the flat back position. Bend your front leg. Release your back foot. Turn the heel up. Send the heel back and come into that lunge. So again, you don't want to be hanging on your joint here. You want to be light. Lifting the chest forward and up, pressing the heel back is going to give you strength in this pose. Dropping the back knee is an option. Otherwise, you're firing through that back leg. Strong position. And then we release the front foot and we come back into plank position. Your options, 3/4, child's pose. That's your choice. Otherwise, we're going to try and hold the plank position for 5 breaths. Spin your inner elbows forward. Lengthen your crown away from your heels. Pull up your thighs. Pull your belly button in and press through the outer fingers so that you're not collapsing in the middle of the spine. When you've done your 5 breaths, or when you've had enough, drop to your knees, untuck the toes, and send your bottom back over your heels, stretching out in child's pose. Inhale, come forward. We're going to do side plank, Vasisthasana. I'll show you an option here. So if you're not sure of your shoulder and your wrist strength, come into a box position, all fours position. Turn your left toes out at a 90-degree angle and send your right foot away from you and come into modified gate pose, Parigasana. If you're strong, come from plank and come straight into side plank, either with your feet, one in front of the other, or you can stack them, one atop the other. If this is too strong, you've also got the option of bringing your right foot forward to give you extra support. So full plank, you know what you're doing, supported plank, or modified gait. Choice is yours. If you're very strong, you think easy peasy lemon squeezy, play around with lifting that top leg, or coming into tree, or taking your toes up. Choice is yours. Hold it for a couple more breaths. When you've had enough, come to your knees, sit back in child's pose, take a break. Remember ahimsa, don't beat yourself up. If you were hardcore before lockdown and now you're feeling a bit softer, that's all fine too. We are where we are. We do what we can with what we're given. Ready for the other side then. So if you're taking the all fours option, your right foot comes out 90 degrees, shoot the left foot away, excuse my back, modified gait. Plank, full plank, rolling over the feet. You can stack or you can stagger. You can take that top leg up if you choose to. Another option is to bring the the left foot forward, and that acts as a buttress. Whichever position you're in, I'll come to this side so you can see me better. You're going to try and get your hips up and your body open. Vasisthasana, side plank. Vasistha was a sage, numbered among the rishis, also owner of the fabulous cow Nandini, who granted his every wish. There you are, that's just a distraction for you. Come to your knees, sit back into child's pose. Take a break. Okay, so from here, if you're hardcore and you want to do a vinyasa, you know what you're doing. We come back onto plank again. Knees, chest and chin, Ashtangasana, 8-point pose. We slide forward into Bhujangasana. We exhale into downward facing dog. If you're not so hardcore, then just come from your child's pose onto your knees and come into downward facing dog. Either way, we're in down dog. From here, take your right foot to the ceiling, 3-legged dog, stretch that heel to the ceiling, but keep the hip turning down and draw your right knee forward, bringing it inside your right thumb. This is pigeon pose. So I don't know how well you can see, but my right heel is coming towards my left hip here. Hips level, chest open, shoulders back and down. Inhale here, and as you exhale, fold forward. Maybe you can bring your brow to the floor. maybe you don't like it very much, in which case take a block to support your right hip or take a block to support your elbows. What you want is length in the body. You'll feel a strong stretch in your right hip. You might not like it. Unfortunately, the poses we dislike are the ones we probably should be doing. Take a couple more breaths here. Then press into the hands, tuck the back toes, draw that right knee high up to your chest, and then send the leg back into three-legged dog, dropping the foot into down face dog. If you want a break, all fours, sit back, rest. Otherwise, straight from your three-legged dog, left leg up, draws forward, knee to thumb, heel to hip. Level off the hips, wrap the shoulders back and down. Use the block under your left buttock or underneath your forearms. Draw your crown away from your tailbone. Find length in the body. Breathe. Remember the breathing from the beginning of the class. Are you still breathing? Is your exhalation still as long as your inhalation? If your breath is coming hard and fast, it's become shallow, then you're working a little bit too hard. Take a lower option. Take a break. Listen to your body. One more breath here. To come out of it, release the blocks, press your hands into the mat, tuck your back toes. Left knee comes to the chest, round the back, send your left leg high to the ceiling, heel to the ceiling, release the toes down to downward dog. Take a quick vinyasa if you want to. I'm not going to, I'm going to stay with slow option here. We come down onto our knees, we sit back into child's pose, stretching your fingertips away from your buttocks. Come forward onto all fours, cross your feet at the ankles, roll over your feet and stretch your legs out in front of you. Ease your way forward onto the mat so that you've got plenty of mat behind you, feet flat to the floor. Stretch your arms out in front. We're going to come slowly to a reclined position. You want to send your tailbone away, draw your pubic bone up, draw your belly button to your spine, roll down one vertebra at a time using your abdominal muscles. If your abdominal muscles won't play, use your hands. Or have your hands on the backs of your thighs. That makes it slightly easier. Keep the feet down if you can. Go as slowly as your breath and your tummy muscles will allow. Check you've got a soft landing for your head. And then draw one knee and then the other into your chest. Rocking gently from side to side, Apanasana, knee to chest pose. From here, if you can reach your strap, wrap it around your right foot, send your right leg to the ceiling and bring your left foot to the floor. We're going for a hamstring stretch here. So send the heel up, draw the toes towards your face. If you've not got a strap, hold on to the back of your calf or the back of your thigh. Don't hold your knee. If you've got monkey arms and you can reach your toes with your peace fingers, you can wrap your toes around, your fingers around your toes in yogi toe lock and use that to draw your shin closer to your face. If you want an extra stretch in your left hip flexor, you can send that foot away. If that's too much for your lower back or you don't like it, then keep the foot bent. Otherwise, you're going to draw that leg ever closer, feel that stretch. One more breath here. Inhaling, exhaling deeply. Fold that knee into your chest, bring the other knee in, swap the strap to your left foot. If you're using a strap, bring your right foot to the floor. Left heel up to the ceiling, feel the stretch in the back of the leg, the back of the calf, holding on here or here, not here or here. Relax the shoulders into the mat. Relax the mind. Surrender into the pose. Let go of your tension in your hips. Let go of your tension in your mind. Let go of any desperation or disappointment that your leg does or doesn't reach behind your ear. Mine doesn't either. That's not yoga. It's very clever, but it's not yoga. Inhaling and exhaling deeply. Soften into the mat. Inhale again. Bend that knee in towards the chest. Bend the other knee in towards the chest. Roll very gently from side to side. Bring your feet to the floor in semi-supine. So if you've got any lower back issues, I suggest you rest in this position. You can make it easier by knocking your knees in slightly, taking the feet slightly wider. That supports your knees. If you've got no issues in your lower back and you want to come into full Shavasana, then you send your feet away and you let them flop out to the side. So your hips flop open. Open your chest. Allow your palms to reach towards the ceiling, to open towards the ceiling. Backs of the hands soft onto the mat and close your eyes. This is Shavasana or corpse pose. It's our final pose. And I invite you in this posture to let go. And this is what yoga is about. We've worked the body. We let it go. We've calmed the mind. We let it go. If random thoughts pop into your mind, push them gently away. Be present to yourself. You owe it to yourself to be present for just a couple of minutes. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Soften and release. If your mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. Connect your mind to your breath. Just as a bird in a cage cannot fly about, so the mind, when encaged in the body through pranayama, the discipline of breath control, your mind cannot flit about. It stays with the body, yoked to the body, so that you can be whole and calm and complete, so that you can know your full nature, which is complete. We're coming to the end of our 30 minutes now. If you've got longer, I invite you to stay longer. Otherwise, take a really deep breath. Make sure you exhale fully. Slowly draw one knee into the chest, followed by the other. Rock them gently from side to side. And then draw them over to one side and roll over to that side. Maybe bringing your head to rest on your hand. Press your free hand into the mat. Draw yourself slowly up to a seated position. Or stay in supine position, stay in your Shavasana if you've got the time, if you're able to stay there for a little longer. If you're seated, lengthen your crown away from your tailbone. Bring your hands to your heart center, pressing your palms together and your thumbs to your sternum. Drop your head towards your fingertips and allow the eyes to gently open if they've not done so already. I wish you a good day, a happy week. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow and for the rest of the week. In the meantime, I bow to you in the traditional way, acknowledging that the light in you is the same light as in me and all living beings. Namaste.